Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nim.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 11, Section 1 of Jane Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Brontë. Chapter 11, Section 1. A new chapter in a novel is something like a new scene in a play. And when I draw up the curtain this time, reader, you must fancy you see a room in the Georgian coat, with such large figured papering on the walls as in rooms have, such a carpet, such furniture, such ornaments on the mantelpiece, such prints, including a portrait of George III, and another of the Prince of Wales, and a representation of the death of Wolfe, ceiling, and by that of an excellent fire, near which I sit in my cloak and bonnet. My muff and umbrella lie on the table. The rawness of an October day. I left Lowton at 4 o'clock am, and the Mulcoat town clock is now just striking 8. We are, though I look comfortably accommodated, I am not very tranquil in my mind. I thought when the coach stopped there would be someone to meet me. Convenience. Expecting to hear my name pronounced, and to see some description of courage waiting to convey me to Thornfield. Nothing of the sort was visible. Messire, I was answered in the negative, so I had no resource but to request to be shown into a private room. And here I am waiting, while all sorts of doubts and fears are troubling my thoughts. The world, cut adrift from every connection, uncertain whether the port to which it is bound can be reached, and prevented by many impediments from returning to that it has quitted. The charm of adventure sweetens that sensation. The blow of pride warms it, but then the throb of fear disturbs it. And fear with me became predominant when half an hour elapsed and still I was alone. I bethought myself to ring the bell. Answer the summons. Thornfield? I don't know. I'll inquire at the bar. He vanished, but reappeared instantly. Is your name Eyre? I jumped up, took my muff and umbrella, and hastened into the passage. A man was standing by the open door, and in the lamplit street I dimly saw a one-horse conveyance. This will be your luggage, I suppose, said the man rather abruptly when he saw me, pointing to my trunk in the passage. He hoisted it onto the vehicle, which was a sort of car, and then I got in. Before he shut me up, I asked him how far it was to Thornfield. He fastened the car door, climbed to his own seat outside, and we set off. Our progress was leisurely, and gave me ample time to reflect. I was content to be at length so near the end of my journey, and as I leaned back in the comfortable though not elegant conveyance, I meditated much at my ease. I suppose, thought I, judging from the plainness of the servant and courage. Mice. Fairfax is not a very dashing person. So much the better. I never lived amongst fine people but once, and I was very miserable with them. I wonder if she lies alone except this little girl. If so, and if she is in any degree amiable, I shall surely be able to get on with her. I will do my best. It is a pity that doing one's best does not always answer. Aloud. Indeed, I took that resolution, kept it, and succeeded in pleasing. But with my Sreed, I remember my best was always spurned. With scorn, pray God my Fairfax may not turn out well. Sick in my Sreed, but if she does, I am not. Bound to stay with her, let the worst come to the worst. I can advertise again, for we on our road now. Walcote was behind us, judging by the number of its lights. It seemed a place of considerable magnitude, much larger than Luton, and, as far as I could see, on a sort of common. But there are houses scattered all over the district, a different region to Aloud, more populous, less picturesque, more stirring, less romantic. The roads were heavy, the night misty, hoarse walkwall. The way and the hour and a half extended, verily believe, to 2 hours set. Again I looked out, we were passing a church, laboratory against the sky, and its bell was tolling a quarter. I saw a narrow galaxy of lights do. On a hillside, village or hamlet, about 10 minutes after a pair of gates we passed through and they clashed behind. All. We now slowly ascended a drive, a house candlelight themed. From one curtained bow window, all the rest were dark. The car stopped. At the front door, it was opened by a maidservant. I lighted and went in. We walked this way, girl, and I followed her across a square hall with high doors all around. First dazzled me had been for 2 hours inured, when I could see, however, cosy and agreeable picture presented itself to my view. A snug small room, table by a cheerful fire, an armchair high-backed and old-fashioned. The neatest imaginable little elderly lady in widow's cap, black silk gown and snowy muslin apron, exactly like what I had fancied my Fairfax, only a stately, immobile looking. She was occupied in knitting, sat demurely at her feet, beau ideal of domestic comfort. Be conceived, there was no grandeur to overwhelm, no stateliness to embarrass, and then, as I entered, kindly came forward to meet. How you do, my dear? I'm afraid you have had a tedious ride. John drives so slowly, must be cold. Miss Fairfax, I suppose, said I. Yes, sir. Right, she conducted me to her own chair, removed my shawl and tie my bonnet strings. So much trouble. Oh, it is no trouble. Hands are almost numbed with cold. Lee cut a sandwich or 2 bunch of keys and delivered them to the servant. And then, nearer to the fire, she continued, You've brought your luggage with you. Yes, I'll see it carried into your room, she said, puzzled out. She treats me like a visitor, thought. By a reception, I anticipated only coldness and stiffness. I have heard of the treatment of governesses, she returned, hence cleared her knitting. Apparatus and a book or 2 from the table, make room for the tray, which Lena brought the refreshments I had ever before received, and that too, in superior, anything out of her place. I thought it bitter to take her civilities quietly. Shall I have the pleasure of seeing Miss Fairfax tonight? I asked, had partaken of what she offered me. What did you say, my dear? I am a little deaf, returned the good lady, mouth. I repeated the question more distinctly. As Fairfax. Oh, variance. Indeed, I should have followed. But my first inquiry in what way Miss Variance was connected with her. Not polite to ask too many questions besides in time. I'm so glad, she continued me and took the cat on her Ní ar come, it will be quite pleasant living here now with her companion. To be sure, it is pleasant at any time, O'Donnell. Rather neglected of late years, perhaps respectable place, best quarters. I say Lonely Lee is a nice school, to be sure, John and his wife are very decent people, only servants or one can converse with. Them on terms of equality must keep them at a distance for fear of losing one's authority. Sure, last winter it was a very severe one. If you recollect, when it did not snow, it rained and blew, the butcher and postman came to the house from November till February. I really got quite melancholy with sitting night after night alone. In to read to me sometimes. To be continued.